Oh,
Talk to me. Talk to me.
score prediction week 1.
Talk to me. What we looking for?
Score prediction.
You guys are right here.
They said Guantanamo Bay. That's where they said you.
Quintana. Oh my God.
Crazy. Y'all ever seen Prison Break?
Holy moly.
Ever seen Prison Break?
My captain can't.
They said, oh, shit, it's not.
I'm going to show you guys the mouth of an NFL mascot.
Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here for my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods. And don't sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, because things happen late in the evening, late at night, and first thing in the morning, and you do not want to miss any of it. And I think things have actually come to a head right now because the Dallas Cowboys have been effing around, and they're about to find out. They're about to find out about Micah Parsons. You know what? Here's what I said. Look, we're going to recap everything that's going on, but Micah Parsons sent a message, a strong message to the Dallas Cowboys. I said a while ago that the Dallas Cowboys will take their time doing the Micah Parsons deal and think that everything works on their time frame and their schedule. And that Micah Parsons has been hat in hand and saying all the right things in this contract negotiations. He's gone through and he said, I don't have to be the highest paid. And when he said that at the time, $35 million was the top. Then Max Crosby got his money. Then, of course, Myles Garrett got his money, taking it to 40. Now, Jamar Chase has gotten his money. He said, I don't have to be the highest paid player out there, but I want to get paid. And we had heard there supposedly was a handshake deal. And last night, this is what we got from Micah Parsons. From the movie Sinners, Michael K. Jordan looking like the fudge. The last time I seen a handshake deal, that's Micah Parsons, like bullshit. And what we had last night was, you know, as I went to bed, it started about 11 o'clock. Clarence Hill started tweeting the whole story of how everything has transpired with this situation. We got Jerry Jones, who, of course, has said, you know, basically, we got a handshake deal, that he's talked with Micah. And, of course, it's easy to talk to Micah because Micah's there for OTAs. A lot of players are like, screw your OTAs, your voluntary workouts. Trey Hendrickson is literally saying, I'm not playing without a new contract and will not play without a new contract, and is being very, very vocal, and it's getting really, really ugly. Micah Parsons showed up for voluntary workouts. Micah Parsons showed up for their team building event. Micah Parsons hasn't trashed the organization. But if you're Micah Parsons and you've seen Trevor Lawrence literally get $275 million last year, and he was in the same draft, and everybody in front of you get paid last year, and here it is, we're on the cusp of June, we're in the middle of May, and I still have not seen my contract, and I hear all this BS. Now, Jerry Jones has said we've had meetings with Micah Parsons and does not want to deal with the agent. Well, here's the problem for you. Athletes first, they have all of your top players. Athletes first has all of your players, and they're coming for blood. If you think that you can bypass the agent and that Micah Parsons is going to sign a deal without his agent being present, you got another thing coming. Micah Parsons is letting you know, don't take my kindness for weakness. Because Micah Parsons has done everything that you want. People had concern about Micah Parsons, you know, not showing up for voluntary workouts in the last couple of years, because he hasn't. Even with Mike Zimmer being a new coach, he's been there every step of the way. He has done everything that you asked him to. You asked him about being a leader. You're moving his locker. He's done all of this. But at some points, you start looking at this and saying, it would have been nice last year for me to get my piece of the pie so I can go ahead and do those, life-changing things that I want to do. But here we are. We've got June and 3/4 of July left to the summer. I want to do some things with that before the grind of the season. And I think you're beginning to see where it kind of got put, or at least the way I looked at it, where, time's running out for the Cowboys. I know the Cowboys don't care if it's going to be 40 million or 42 or 43 or 44, but for the player that's just being left out there, you are now risking your season. Let's be clear here. Every single time the Dallas Cowboys have done this BS, be it with DeMarcus Lawrence, who they decided, he wants too much money. We thought we had a deal at $18 million at the Combine, and now they want 21. You ended up settling for the 21. And he finally put you on blast. This shoulder that's screwed up, I'm not getting it fixed until I get my contract. In which case, it was the end of May before he had his shoulder surgery, which hampered him recovering for the season and literally lost a year. Zeke Elliott holds out, goes to Cabo. The season effed up. He wasn't ready. We keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And every time it screws us. I'll even put out there CeeDee Lamb missing training camp when he's the only weapon, where you got to go out the first couple of weeks and worry about a soft tissue injury because he hasn't worked out. So now Cowboys have been put on blast by Micah Parsons. And for Micah, you know what? There's no handshake deal. And this is what happened last night. So Clarence Hill, he ended up recapping the story, and there were several tweets that just kept going on. His final one, and this is at 1:29 a.m. This is how late this thing was going. I've been on this Micah Parsons contract story from both sides. When Micah's brother talked about a deal being done in March, I didn't react. A high-level source told me about a verbal agreement. Then Jerry Jones confirmed a meeting of the minds at the owners' meetings and again before the NFL draft. I said there would be no deal without the agent, and now there's been no movement forward. So since March, at the owners' meeting, Jerry Jones, okay. The Cowboys have not reached out to the agent. The Cowboys were miffed that I pointed that out and that they couldn't cut out the agent. Now calling Michael Cap on a verbal deal. Jerry Jones, they said at a meeting of the minds on the deal, pen is not on paper, stay tuned, and don't come after me with BS. So let me read that one more time. I have been on the Micah Parsons contract story from both sides. When Micah Parsons' brother talked about a deal being done in March, I didn't react. A high-level source told me about a verbal agreement. Then Jerry Jones confirmed in a meeting of the minds at the owners' meeting and again before the NFL draft. I said there would be no deal without the agent, and now there has been no movement forward. The Cowboys have not reached out to the agent, and the Cowboys were miffed that I pointed that out, and they can't cut out the agent. So the Cowboys are pissed that they got to deal with the agent. Now, Micah calling Cap on a verbal deal. So literally, Micah Parsons is like, you ain't done shit. You ain't done shit. You talking to me, yeah, okay, man, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. Call David Magenta. Call David and, get the details worked out. And it's done nothing since then. The thing is you can do 99 things right. 99 things right. It's the one thing that you do wrong that everybody focuses on. And this is what they're doing wrong. Micah Parsons should have already been paid. Micah Parsons should have been paid as soon as the offseason was over, gotten him lined up for $35 million, had more cap room to work with and things. And here it is, we're dicking around because they want to cut out the agent. And Micah Parsons is getting sick of it. And if they don't do something about it, it could get ugly. Because at some point, we all know as fans watching this, we know how this is going to play out. Unfortunately, the Cowboys make you work for your money. They end up making you feel like, you're the field hand, that you don't deserve the money, as opposed to going through and saying, thank you for everything you've done. We believe in you, and we're going to get you this money so we can go out here. You're creating hard feelings, and you are now creating the us versus them. And the Cowboys, I don't think you really want to go down that road. Micah Parsons has done everything that you've asked him to do. Everything. Everything. He's being a leader. He's busting his ass to get in shape. He's there at voluntary workouts. He is not putting anything, unless you say that we're going to win against the Eagles, out there to hurt the team. But the team is hurting him. Jerry, you got to fix this thing. So there we are. The drama for your mama. The Dallas Cowboys starting some shit. We'll definitely be watching here and see if this actually gets the Cowboys to get off their ass. The thing that kills me is the Cowboys have been doing so many things right this offseason. They've been getting it. I don't know if this team is ready to be, compete with the big dogs, but you look at this and you say, I see movement. I see them trying to get better. I don't see them just sticking with the status quo. But then you can ruin this whole thing and create a whole locker room issue with Micah Parsons just because you don't want to sign the check. It's ridiculous. Alrighty, good people, as always, we'll keep following this and we'll see you soon. Peace.
I can't stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get out.
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're one on the phone. Everything's going to be all right. Please.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
Yourself.